and Dr. Satchidanand Joshi and published by Mr. Shobit Arya of this country.
Governor Shri Arif Mohammed Khanji, Dr. Vinay Sahasrabudiji, Dr. Satchidanand Joshi, Ambassador Puneet Kumar, publisher, uh, Shobit Arya, uh, my dear friends, dignitaries, excellencies, contributors, it's really a pleasure to join you all this evening. This book, as you have heard from the two co-authors, is about soft power. It is about connecting to culture. And perhaps it's an appropriate occasion for us really to reflect on the importance of soft power and where it fits into the larger scheme of things in respect of India. So, a moment of reflection maybe on what do we mean by soft power. I think it's generally believed it's something which is intangible, which confers legitimacy, which has some sort of ethical connotation most of the time, which definitely gets your attention. It stimulates recall, it clearly shapes preference, and in that sense, soft power is a factor in the likability of a person, an institution, a nation, a society. And that is really what this book is about. What this book does, going through it, and I had the advantage of a prior copy, really it creates a comfort about India. It takes different aspects of India and it, to some degree, it brings out the familiarity with different facets of India. It talks about the penetration we have in the world, how different societies today appreciate or use or absorb Indian practices and activities. It refers to fusion of various kinds, fusion of ideas, fusion of habits, fusion of activities. So it is really, even the iconic figures that it refers to, the overall message you really get from this book is of acceptance and of likability. And you might all wonder actually why that is the case. It is the case because really the last 75 years, India has a larger presence in the world. Uh, I can also say in many ways we are more relevant to the world, so there is a much greater interest factor. And there is a greater exposure to India because there are many more Indians in either physical form or in terms of their activities or in terms of the message. So for me, this anthology in many ways is a very, very notable contribution uh, about understanding India, about appreciating India, and in many ways about valuing India. So, in the business of diplomacy, I would say this is a good cop book. This is the nice arguments you give. Really, why others should work more with India, why they should engage India much more deeper. But reality is very tough, and you don't. I think good cops are one part of the spectrum. So even in soft power, it's important to understand that there is comfort at one end of the spectrum. Somewhere in the middle, that comfort becomes influence. And at the other end of the spectrum, there's actually domination. So, and a lot of what countries do with soft power depends on the country, it depends on the situation of the country, the power of that country. So you can have soft power as a very smooth osmosis process where you're actually absorbing things without sometimes even realizing. Or you can have soft power as a very aggressive push, a kind of model, way of life. And that is really the spectrum today with which the world deals with soft power. That is really where soft power comes into play. And we have seen in history that there can be very powerful countries, but who have actually failed in the soft power front and therefore met political reverses, which is not something which is that far back in history. So I see today uh, culture, that connecting through culture, the comfort that is growing about India, I see that actually as very, very central to the rebalancing and something which works very much to India's advantage. Resistance and pluralism. So I'm very glad today that we have an anthology which certainly we in the Ministry of External Affairs would like to use extensively as part of spreading our message. Once again, I thank you all for making that.
Knowledge and wisdom is soft power, but on the back, on your back, you should be armed with weapons. These weapons, Indian culture says that these weapons are not meant to dominate over others, to impose your views on others. But these weapons are meant to defend yourself against the aggressor. I have no hesitation to say that in the period of decline, India ignored this aspect. And that is why we were subjected to many humiliations. And now, definitely, after independence, more so now, the leadership is fully aware. But our thrust, India will remain India as long as our thrust will be on the soft power and to be more specific to promote the tradition of knowledge and wisdom. And our freedom movement itself is a great example, possibly the only movement in the freedom movement in the world, where only soft power was employed to throw out the colonial power. Satya, Ahimsa, and Satyagraha. And India became an example. And I would say, if you look around the world, we generally ignore some developments. In USA, in South Africa, Nelson Mandela. In USA, Martin Luther King. They all got their inspiration from Mahatma Gandhi. Well, you can think about it. Would it have, without the movement launched by Martin Luther King, would it have been possible for Mr. Obama to become the president of US? And that movement was inspired by Mahatma Gandhi. First time when I went to Indonesia, outside the palace, Indonesia, everybody knows, is a Muslim country, overwhelmingly Muslim country. Outside the palace, there's a huge statue of Krishna Arjun Sambhav. Outside the presidential palace, like our India laws. So our ambassador in Indonesia told me, he said, ask any Indonesian what is this. He will say Krishna Arjun Sambhav.